Hey everyone, let me ask you a quick question. If you had somehow achieved the status or the label of unreferrable in your BNI chapter, wouldn't you want to know that and what you could do about it? Well, in this video, we're going to discuss 7 ways that you might make yourself unreferrable and some ideas of what you can do to avoid receiving this label. First of all, you join BNI to make it easier to connect with the right people. And this might be that you're looking to connect with exactly the right customer. It might be that you're looking to make the right business partners and collaborations. I know that in my years in BNI, I have had all those experiences. I've been introduced to some really great people who could use my business. And I've also even created new businesses based on my relationships with the people in the chapter. And a lot of that I've been able to do because of how I'm perceived by the other people who are in the chapter. And so if you have an image problem or there's a message that you're not getting across and you're not representing yourself well, it is vitally important that you know and understand how to fix that right away. So let's get to the first way that somebody might make themselves unreferrable in a BNI chapter. We always are talking about VC equals P in a BNI chapter. And what the V stands for is visibility, the C stands for credibility, and the P stands for profitability. So essentially, this is how you can have the first type of problem that would make you unreferrable. So if you have low visibility within your chapter, say you're often gone, even if you do have a substitute, people aren't getting a chance to meet with you face to face, it lowers your visibility within the chapter. Or maybe you're never willing to step up and do a leadership position, or your presentations aren't very spectacular or special or memorable. Those types of things reduce your visibility within a chapter. And when that happens, it makes it more and more difficult to refer to you because people don't feel like you're invested or they don't feel like they know you well enough. Same thing with credibility. Low credibility would be somebody who maybe doesn't do what they say they're going to do. Maybe when it's some point in the agenda and we have like rules and ways of doing things that you're constantly kind of going against the grain and violating those rules. Or maybe it's that you're not following through on referrals when they're given. Those kinds of things can reduce your credibility. Also, there's things outside of the chapter that can also reduce your credibility. For example, if your business has some sort of like bad press, like maybe you had an ethics violation with a regulatory board or something like that, or you've gotten sued, or you've gotten bad reviews online, all those kinds of things can decrease your credibility. And so those are things that over time can potentially make you unreferrable. So how do you fix that? Well, you show up, you do the things that you say that you're going to do when you're going to do them. You take excellent care of customers and you do everything that you can to protect your reputation in the group and also in the community. Now, the second way that you might make yourself unreferrable is when you put yourself in a situation where we know your category in the chapter, but we don't know what you do. Now, these aren't necessarily the same thing. Just because you have a category, it doesn't tell us what you specifically do. Like, for example, I'll make up a category like balloon animal sales, okay? So if that is your category that you do balloon animal sales, it's simply not enough to help me to give you a referral because I'm not often coming across people that need somebody to sell them balloon animals. And so what you have to do if you want to be referable is you need to help me to understand what specifically it is that you do. What's different about your balloon animals? Is it the prices? Is it the level of service? Do you deliver? Do you do birthdays, bar mitzvahs, weddings? What is it specifically that you do that we can help other people to know about? Because sometimes I might run into somebody who needs balloon animals, but it's going to be difficult for me to create referrals for you unless I know what it is specifically that you do. So whatever your category is, I think it's really important to think about this. Yes, you have your category, and yeah, people get it, what that category does, but what is it about you specifically? Why should I refer to you over other people that I know that do that same thing? Now, of course, you're going to get referrals from people because they're loyal to the BNI group and they want to refer within the group, but they'll also refer to other people if they feel like they have a much better understanding or a specific thing that would best fit a person that they could refer to have that service or that product. So be sure that we know what specifically it is that you do to make yourself as referable as possible. The third thing is if you show up and you're uninterested in others, it really makes it difficult to refer to you. And I think that everybody's had this experience where you go and you talk to somebody and they're just like pretending to listen, or they want to tell you a lot about themselves, but they don't really ask any questions about what you do. And so you really kind of get the sense of when somebody could care less about you as a person or what you have to offer, and so they're not really open to receiving anything because they're too busy thinking about themselves. And so if you find that you're having trouble getting referrals and you wonder if you're referable, really focus on this element. Think about what kind of questions am I asking about other people? When I look around the room, is it a bunch of people that I'm not really sure what they do? And if there is somebody that you're not sure what they do, like maybe you can schedule a one-to-one with that person and really put special emphasis on finding out what it is that they do. What are their goals? Why are they in the chapter? Like, what's important to them about the business that they do? How long have they been doing it? What's their favorite kind of person to help? What's their least favorite kind of person to help? The more questions that you ask about somebody else, the closer they actually feel to you. And so if you find that you're not getting referrals, be sure that you haven't made yourself unreferable by not first being interested in other people so that then they could take interest in you as well. The fourth thing to think about is actually really similar to the previous, but if some people come and they try to gain before they give, and this shows up in a few ways. They say, well, if BNI is a good thing and it's kind of panning out for me and we're getting some referrals, well, then I'm going to go and dump some more into it. And that's not typically how BNI works. We've all heard the term givers gain. And people who jump in with both feet and they're really committed to the process, those are people that are exciting to refer to. It's exciting to do business with these people. Like, one of my favorite things to see is when a new member comes into the chapter and they're bringing visitors like left and right, or somebody shows up for their first week and they're like, I've got 6 referrals. That's somebody that I get excited about doing business with. It's really hard whenever you have somebody who comes in and they're just kind of trying to feel things out, and their attitude is, I'm going to see if something happens for me first, and if this does seem like a good thing, then yeah, I'll put a little bit of effort into it. And so you can really tell when people are invested in the group, they're jumping in with both feet, and those are the people who tend to do better in the group. And so if you're wondering if you're unreferable because of giver's gain, it might be that you just have to give a lot more before you're going to get something back. And when you get something back at first, it might not be referrals. It might be a friendship, a relationship, an opportunity to sit down and meet. So you're going to start maybe receiving other things that aren't like the referral that you're looking for. But as you start receiving more of those things and you give more, eventually the money comes. So it's important whenever you do give to just keep giving and to be patient, and eventually it always comes around. Our fifth item is that you might have made yourself unreferable because you're not asking for the things that you really need. One of the things that's really great about a BNI group is you have a room full of people that really want to help you out, and so you can get really, really specific. Like, I love it when somebody stands up in a meeting and they ask like for a specific person by name. I want to meet Mr. Jones who works for this company and he is the buyer for that company. That's the person I want to be connected with. And I think that that's really great because a lot of times those things pan out. And when you're very specific like that, it helps us to deliver what you actually need. Now, the more vague you are and the more you just assume that people should probably know what you need, like if you are a podiatrist that you're looking for people with feet, and so why aren't people sending me folks with feet problem? Then you just can't ever take it for granted. You have to be so specific about what it is that you need. And in addition, it's okay to ask specific people that you feel like you might have a contact sphere in common, or somebody specific that could be in a power team with you, or maybe you just know of some sort of relationship or something in their business that would be compatible with one of your needs. It's a great idea to talk to that person specifically. A lot of times folks like to hang back and hope that maybe that person that they're thinking about will just pick it up from their weekly presentation, but why leave that to chance? If it's really important for you to have that, let the group know what it is that you really need so that we can deliver. Otherwise, you might be making yourself unreferable. The sixth thing is that you might not be giving your referral partners the tools that they need to make referrals to you. One specific example of how this shows up a lot of times is when people come to the group and they're looking to sell to the people in the group instead of through the people in the group. So you might stand up and your weekly presentation is actually more of a commercial than giving people the tools that they need in order to make referrals. So what I mean by that is that if I sell a product and I'm talking about all the features of the product and how cool it is and everything like that, it might sound like I want you to buy my product. When really, I think that I would be a lot more successful in a B&I group if the other people in the room never bought my product, but everybody gave me 2 referrals because I had prepared them well enough to know how to refer good people to me. And so always think about that fact that you are selling through the people in the room. Now, if you had a sales force and like these were your employees and you had a sales force meeting, what would you tell those people in terms of how to go out and sell your product or sell your service? I mean, you're not going to try and sell to your own employees, but you're going to equip those people with the tools and the knowledge to go out and then sell your business to other people. And so that's the mindset that you have to have with your weekly presentations, not that you're targeting the people who are in the room, but you want to give them the tools, the understanding, and the things that they need in order to find you the right kind of referral and get that person in contact with you. And finally, bad service. So I've got this the icon here in the corner, which is a cell phone that's kind of crossed out. So the analogy here is you could be a cell phone company and you could sell me like the sweetest phone in the world. It does all the features and you could give it to me at a really great price, and like your commercials could be really great or whatever. But if the coverage isn't good, then there's very little value in that. And so very much the same thing with how you're presenting yourself in the group. You could have a really slick presentation. You could do all the other things right. You could have great relationships with people in the group. But if I send you a referral and the person I refer has a bad experience, it's going to be really difficult for me to send another person. And you know, not every referral is a great fit, and stuff happens sometimes. If I send another person to you and they have a bad experience also, chances are there's not going to be a third referral. So this is maybe one of the most critical things is when you are considering whether or not you are somebody who is unreferable, you really have to do your best to take great care of everybody who is referred to you. So every referral that you get, you have to treat it like a precious treasure. Um, Sometimes you'll get a referral and it's not that great. Like there's not enough information or it's not the right type of person. And so sometimes it's tempting just to say, well, this is a junk referral or it's trash. And so I'm just not going to do anything with it. And that's a choice that you could make. Maybe a better idea, though, would be because, well, here's a risk if you decide to do that. If you decide I'm not going to do anything, this is obviously a junk referral, there's not enough information or it's the wrong kind of person, and you just ignore that and you never follow up on it, the risk is that the person who gave you that referral might not understand why that's not a good referral, and they might become offended and they might say, well, I'm not going to put myself out there and try and give them a referral in the future, and then you have just made yourself unreferrable. A wiser thing to do would be to connect with that person who gave you that bad referral and say, hey, here's first of all, I appreciate that you're thinking about me, that you're trying to get me some business. Here are some things that would make this referral better, or could you get this information for me, or this is why this person maybe isn't a good fit for what I do. And then you try and help that person. And because it's not always comfortable to try and go and find a referral, you're really kind of putting yourself out there. You're spending some of your own social capital. And so if you try and help that person, they will appreciate that. You'll deepen that relationship, and they're more likely to give you a referral, and they're more likely to give you a better referral. So that's an important thing. When somebody gives you a referral, even if it's a bad one, do what you can to try and help coach that member of your sales team. Now, if somebody gives you a really good referral and it's exactly what you've asked for and you don't contact them, then I don't think that you really deserve to get any more referrals from that person. And so you really have to look at every single opportunity that the group is giving you and take really good care of those people, maybe even a little better than the guy who just walks in off of the street. Why should you do that? Well, in part, it's because you've paid for that service, right? We all have to remember that we are customers of BNI as well as members of the group. And the thing that we are paying BNI for with our money and our time and our effort is quality referrals. And so if you're spending the money and the time and the effort on these referrals, then you should treat them with the value that they deserve, so that you can get that return on your investment. Nobody just wants you to show up and sit around and not get anything out of the group. We want you to be profitable and make money. So those are the 7 things that I think might make you unreferrable. Review this video as often as you need to. If you're wondering why you're not getting good referrals or why you're not getting many referrals, or if you just want a shortcut to making sure that you're getting the most value out of your BNI membership, review the things in this video. And what I would do is you could even just take it one at a time. Another thing that you could do is you could sit down in a one-to-one with maybe a mentor or a close friend in the group or somebody that you feel like you have a good relationship with, and you can ask them, hey, are there any of these 7 things that you think might make me unreferable? Maybe anything that I've noticed, because we all have blind spots, and so it's really great to have a friend help us out. All right, this video is already way too long, and so I don't want to lose your attention or anything like that. And so those 7 things are really important. Review them, know them, fix them, and have a ton of success in your BNI experience.